Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. In today's card making video, I'm going to be making some wedding cards with some of the gorgeous new products from Trinity Stamps, pairing them with some that are already in the shop. Here is the Wedded Couple Die set. I'm going to die cut this from some black glitter cardstock for my first card, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, you could die cut so many things with this die and it would be gorgeous. For the background, I'm going to use the foiling floral plate and hot foil that onto some white hammermill cardstock with some prism foil. So it's silver with like an iridescent or rainbow finish to it. So I'm putting the hot foil pretty side up and the plate face down onto that. I'll trim off the excess that's hanging off the edges and turn that whole thing face down onto my preheated glimmer hot foil system. I pressed the timer, added the plates. Once the timer goes off, about a minute later, I can remove that platform, run the whole thing through my die machine, and the pressure and the heat are going to transfer and press that floral image into the card, and it's going to make a gorgeous background for my card. I love this part, peeling off the foil. Oh my word, it's so gorgeous. I'm going to repeat that in the opposite corner so I have more of a complete background. So just doing the same exact steps as before. You can hot foil on a piece of paper that's already been hot foiled. So now we're going to have a background with two roses, and it's going to make the perfect backdrop for our wedded couple. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. It's great for a background, but this die or plate also has a die that cuts it out, so it can be the focal image of a card. Next, I'm bringing in the Mr. and Mrs. die set. This has the Scripty word and a shadow layer for Mr., Mrs., 2 periods, and the ampersand. I'm going to use all of them for today's card. I also like to point out, I think the period and the shadow layer could be used to make faux googly eyes. I'm going to try that on something soon. Okay, so I'm going to place this on my card how I think I'm going to want it to go, because the Mr. and Mrs. I'm going to have overlap the wedded couple. So I need to just kind of lay it out, see where I want it to go. Then I'm going to bring in my glue and like commit and glue it in place. Then once I have everything right where I want it, I'm going to remove that and add some foam squares to the back and pop that up off of my card. I'm also adding the ampersand with a foam square, but the little periods, I'm just going to glue them in place. Now they have a white shadow layer, but I didn't feel like that was a problem putting it on top of a white card. You can still see the edge of it, and it makes it a little bit more subtle. I was cool with that. All right, I'm going to add a background layer to this in black, but I didn't want to waste all the cardstock behind it where it would just be covered. It's a really large piece. This is an A7 size card. So I brought out my A7 layering rectangles. These have an embossed edge on them, which is really cool. I'm going to cut out the middle and only use the frame, and I can save that middle piece with the embossed edge for another time on another card. However, when you're gluing these pieces together, make sure you only put glue on the outer edge, because there's no middle to glue it down to. So that would be, a waste of glue. It would make a mess. It's not fun. I promise you. I know. All right, let's add some embellishments. I have the black licorice jelly hearts. I don't know why, but having black embellishments makes me so happy. I love them. I think they're elegant on a wedding card like this, and these hearts are so like shiny and they're puffy. They're just cute. So I'm going to add 3 over here by the Mr. and Mrs. sentiment, and then I'll add 3 towards the top. I also think you could use the Mr. and Mrs. for like teacher cards, like Mr. Smith, Mrs. Jones, whatever, teacher cards like that. So that's another fun way you can use that die. And the wedded couple could also be used for anniversary cards. So a little bit of versatility with these that I think is really fun. So now we'll put this whole panel onto an A7 size card. So that is a piece of paper that is 10 inches by 7 inches, scored at 5 inches. That's the A7 size card. I am in love with this size card right now. I've been making a ton of them. So there you can see the Mr. and Mrs. die and the wedded couple. They're both brand new in the Happily Ever After collection together on one wedding card. It was pretty easy to do, but we've got glitter and metallics, and we've got the shimmer, and we've got the hearts. It's so fun. Okay, on to card number 2. We've got the Happily Ever After stamp set. So if you're more into stamps and dies, this wedded couple on the stamp set is really like sketchy, which makes it be a style that can be really dressed up or kept a little bit more casual. I think it's perfect. All right. I stamped these in black on some white cardstock, and I'm going to die cut them out. I'm keeping this really simple. I'm not coloring it. It's going to be black and white, like stamps, ink, paper. Boom, here we go. We're done. So you can make really elegant cards without doing a ton of work. So I'm die cutting out all the things that I need for this card, but I'll show you what all the things look like die cut out, because those sentiments, those 2 sentiments, they cut the words apart, which means you can arrange them however you like. I think that's really cool. Or you can use parts of them, which is what I will be doing. This is the Summer Blooms stamp set, one of my favorites. Trinity just brought it back from last summer. It was part of a kit. Now you can buy the stamp set individually. I love it so much, I thought I would throw in a little section right here showing you the cards that I've made with this in the past. I've done some watercoloring, emboss resist, no line coloring. I love it so much. So there are my other cards, just for fun, little inspiration. All right, I'm taking the largest floral image from the Summer Bloom set, and I'm going to stamp it with some clear sticky ink onto this kind of peach colored cardstock. I'm going to stamp it 3 times because like I have an OCD about it or something. Also, I'm going to stamp the other corner, just like how I did with the hot foiling, and I want the first stamping to stay wet. So I stamped it 3 times. That's what I can do with a Misty, right? Yeah. All right. So now I am putting on some white embossing powder, the classic white embossing on colored cardstock to like match a wedding color. Perfect way to make an elegant wedding card. I'm going to heat that up, let that powder melt, and have a gorgeous background right here. Isn't it pretty? I love the thick lines and the kind of playfulness of those flowers. So pretty. All right, I'm splattering this with some little bit of shimmer for a little extra added prettiness to the background. And then it's time to glue all the things together. I'm going to put an extra die cut behind my 2 sentiments, raising them up a little bit. I did use some like really thick cardstock for that, just to give them a little bit of lift and a little bit more stability. I didn't want to put them up on foam squares because they're so skinny, but that little extra foam or cardstock there really helps. For the married couple, I added a shadow of some silver cardstock, and that is going to be just a little added touch of elegance to this. I thought was really pretty. So you can see I'm using just the word congratulations from that sentiment by itself, and then at the top it says for the happy couple. So that finishes up the front of this card. We are going to put it onto an A7 size card as well as embellish. These are the Peachy Keen hearts. You can see if you look in my little tiny tray there are clear or more translucent hearts and hearts that are more frosted. So most of the jelly hearts in the Trinity Stamps shop come just like that. Another embellishment I'm adding is a little bit of silver cord tied into a bow. So you can see these extra things like the bow, the hearts are the things that really take this card up a notch and make it a little bit more special, but still a quick and easy card to make. I'm going to attach that silver bow right there with a mini glue dot. I kind of rolled the glue dot up so it wasn't bigger than my bow, and then I'll just trim that down, and I think it's a really fun added touch to have the little bow on there. So again, I have my 5x7 card, and then I will add my card front onto that with some liquid glue. Love is in the details. All right, so there we have our 2 wedding cards. I think that these cards are so fun to make, and they're really nice to have on hand. Maybe you get a wedding invitation in the mail that you can't go to. You can right away have this card ready to go and send it out. So there we have our 2 wedding cards. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I love sharing my card creations with you, and I think that this new release is really fun. Like, you can get just that Wedded Couple die and pair it with flowers and things that you already own and have something for wedding cards when you need it. And it's just one die. I love that. So clever. So thank you for watching and stopping by the Trinity Stamps channel today. I will see you guys all again very soon on the next video. Happy stamping! Bye!